Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to get your website pages indexed faster using the Google Indexing API. And we're going to be running this in Make and using Airtable to store the URLs, both no-code tools. So to give you an example of what your Search Console might look like before starting to run this is something like this, where you have a lot of dynamic pages created, several thousand, that Google will just take a really, really long time to index if leaving the crawler to run on its own. So with the indexing API, you can submit up to 200 URLs, sometimes more per day. If you do get increased quotas, you can actually run more than 200, but for now, it's just running at that number. Um, anyway, we'll jump right into it. So first thing you'll want to do is just grab the URLs that have not yet been indexed. So you can see we have about 3,000 of these left. And then either Google Sheets or CSV file, either one works. But this will basically give you a list of every URL that Google has crawled and found but has not yet indexed. So we're going to take those, we're going to drop these in Airtable. And the reason we use Airtable because it has just a much more convenient, easier to use API that integrates with Make, which is the tool that we're going to be running the indexing job on. And the only other column we hear is just a timestamp to represent when the index call to Google was made. So once we have that set up, really the only other thing you'll have to do is set up your Google Cloud Console API. So that's going to be in a separate tutorial, but once you have that, actually, you'll be able to utilize the indexing API and plug in your credentials into Make. And if you haven't used Make, it's a drag and drop visual code builder. This one's going to be pretty simple because really all we're going to be doing is taking the Airtable database, searching 200 of those records because that is the limit that we can index per day. We're going to put a sleep timer on it to delay the request so we don't overwhelm the indexing API. And then we're going to make a call to the indexing API endpoint. And really the only thing that we're going to include in this request is the URL. That's coming from Airtable. And for the type, we're going to put URL updated. And then basically we have two outcomes. If this results in a 200 status code, we're going to go and log the timestamp that the indexing has been requested successfully. And over limit basically is going to mean that it errors out, which in most cases means you've hit your limit, which really shouldn't happen as long as you're only pulling 200 records per day. So that's it. We have this set up to automatically run every single day in the middle of the night. And slowly but surely we'll get this down to 0 non-indexed pages.